Let's jump right in. Dear Dr. Dandridge, I never thought I'd be starting over in my 50s, but after my divorce last year, that's exactly where I am. I thought grief was only for death, but it feels like something died when my marriage ended. When I see older couples now holding hands, I feel jealous, angry, and ashamed for not having what they have. I want to find joy again, but I don't know how to move past this ache. How do I grieve a marriage that's over while also learning to believe in love again? Wow. Let's unpack this. Thank you for acknowledging that grief does not just happen when we lose somebody by way of death. We grieve a lot of stuff daily and we don't even realize it. And divorce is one of those things that a lot of couples don't really deal with the grief element until years down the line. Now, I've never been divorced, but I've heard the stories of people who go through divorce and they go through the counseling and the therapy before the actual paperwork is signed and whatnot. But very rarely do I hear that they go through a grief support group to address the changes that will happen and take place after the divorce. You said I never thought I'd be starting over in my 50s. Starting over is not a bad thing. To be honest, 50 is actually pretty young. If I can just be honest, 50 is actually pretty young. With life expectancy right now, I think inside of the mid 70s, early 80s, you've still got, if you're in good health, a good 20, 30 years left. And you can still find happiness. I've seen, as a matter of fact, it's actually kind of humorous. I've actually seen people inside of their 60s and 70s and even 80s find love and companionship inside of nursing homes and assisted living facilities. They might be widowed or divorced, or I've seen people that age find love. So don't quantify your joy based on what your age is. Okay. But again, going back to grief in your question, um you're right. Grief is not just about death. And you said that you want to find joy again. You can find joy the second you stop looking outward for it. This is one of the things that I say inside of designing your goodbyes, that when grief and transition and change happen, there are some people who look for that joy, look for that reconnection, look for that peace, look for that happiness outside because they think that their peace, their joy, their happiness was connected to that outside thing that they lost. The truth of the matter is that there are elements of it that probably were connected, but the truth is that true joy comes from within. You can still find joy, and maybe now inside of your 50s, this is an opportunity for you to rediscover a new you, for you to rediscover new purpose, new passions, new desires, new dreams, new ambitions. I would almost suggest or want to ask if the divorce happened because there was a new identity in you or your partner, your spouse, that did not align with the identity of who you married. That is probably the epitome of grief associated with divorced couples. You're grieving not just the loss of the marriage, but you're also grieving the fact that neither of you are the person that you were the day that you said, I do. That is the crux of a lot of divorces that I believe should be addressed during the process of separation and divorce. And I'm sure it probably is asked inside of the therapy sessions, what changed? What was lost? What fell by the wayside? Grief has a way of displaying itself through identity shifts. And we also grieve differently based on how we look at ourselves in the mirror. There are some divorced couples who have embraced their new identities separately and are 100% fine with moving forward without one another. They've grieved so quickly, it's just like, this is my new me. You're you. You're your new you. I'm my new me. And we're just going to be happy without one another. But then there are also individuals who are still trying to identify who that new person is while holding on to and grieving who that old person was that they might still be in love with. That also goes for their partner or their spouse. You say, how do I grieve a marriage that's over while also learning to believe in love again? The simple answer to believing in love again is to believe in yourself again. Is to look inward and say, I believe in me. I believe in my worth. I believe in my capacity to love. I believe in my capacity to be loved. I believe in my capacity to grow love. I believe in my capacity to cultivate love. I believe in my capacity to let go. I believe in my capacity to accept. I believe in my capacity to tolerate. These are all things that I believe if you were to say these things to yourself daily, maybe as affirmations, that they will truly help you not just believe in love again, but to find love again if it is the will of the universe, if it is the will of God or the divine or however way the creator, if you're a religious person. Because some people, I'm just gonna be very honest with you, there are some people who are grieving because they realize that they were never meant to be married. Not that they weren't meant to be married to that person or that individual. No, it just was not meant for you to be married or connected to someone at all. And you're grieving the fact that you were probably meant to be single. Can we just talk about that for a minute? Grief shows us so many different things. It shows us so many different things. And there are so many ways that you can accept this divorce. I encourage you to accept it with grace. Give yourself some grace in this. This is a new environment. This is a new season of your life. And ultimately, it definitely can change for the better, even inside of your 50s and your 60s. It might take you another 20 years. You might be 70 before you find someone that loves you the way that you need to be loved and that you can love the way that they need to be loved. But guess what? Acknowledge today, take today as today, one day, one moment, one step at a time. It sounds like your divorce is a little fresh. Don't compare yourself to other people's love because can we just be honest? That person that you're jealous of, that person that that couple that stirs up that anger inside of you, they might have been married for 40, 50, 60 years, but they probably went through 3 or 4 mini divorces in the process of them staying together. Let's just be honest, okay? So give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace along with your grief and know that joy and grief, that your fear, your anger, your frustration, your hope and your belief in love again, they can all live together within you. But look inside in order to, number one, love yourself. And then number two, discover what love is going to look like inside of your future now after the loss of this marriage and this relationship. Okay. Hope this advice helps out a little bit. Thank you for joining me at my desk. This has been Designing Your Goodbyes. I'm Dr. Dandridge, and I'll see you inside of the next episode, okay?